Professor Manori Senanayake, dear Dhamma friends. First of all, I should thank Manori for her kind words of introduction in Dhamma way, as well for inviting me to deliver this talk. The topic today is a very wide and a broad topic. We won't be able to finish it in 45 minutes, but I have taken the essence of what the topic says. Today we are going to discuss how does the practice develop our wisdom. Now, our final objective as a Buddhist practitioner is to end sansaric suffering. That is the suffering in the round of rebirths. This is achieved essentially by eradicating the defilements. Eradication of defilements is achieved by developing the wisdom. Wisdom is recognized by Buddha as the most important factor that ultimately eradicates the defilements. But with the support of many other factors which simultaneously develop with the wisdom. Now, what is this wisdom that we are talking about here? The wisdom that we are talking about is the understanding of the true nature of the world. Because I have taken the Vipassana aspect, I'm not going into very much into the lower kinds of wisdom, because wisdom is a very broad thing, but this is in the essence. So wisdom here, what I take today in my discussion is a wisdom that understands or sees or comprehends the true nature of the world. When you say the true nature of the world, we have to see what this world is. The world here is the inner world. Inner world is the world within an individual. Because he is the one who is going to liberate. So what he has to understand thoroughly is what is there within and what is the true nature of that world within. So what is this world that is within each and every one of us? We are talking in conventional terms because we are going to see the reality. So the world within us is, as Buddha has mentioned many a time, the Panchaskandha. Every one of us has a Panchaskandha. Panchaskandha is the Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana. Now, when you say Panchaskandha in Pali, sometimes we might not understand the Pali word. It is the 5 aggregates. There is nothing more than these 5 aggregates within us. Whatever the analysis you come to, it is only these 5 aggregates that we have within us. What are the 5 aggregates, just to sum up? First one is Rupa or form, then Vedana, feelings, Sanya, identification or recognition, Sankhara, thoughts, thought processes, volitions, Vijnana, the mind. So now, since we listed the 5 aggregates, you may not find anything other than that within you. The Rupa is taken as Rupa, other 4 is taken as Nama. So within you, in your world, either you can call it Panchaskandha or you can call it Nama. Now, so now we have seen what the inner world is. Next is for us to see properly what we are going to understand or comprehend about the inner world. This is just a briefing, because right at the beginning I have to give a small introduction of what you are going to see. During our Vipassana meditation, when it comes to the pinnacle, when it comes to the top level in our Vipassana meditation, with the wisdom that is highly matured, fully matured wisdom, we have to see the working of Panchaskandha in many ways. So one has to see the Panchaskandha in the Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta way. So the properly meditated, deep meditator in Vipassana meditation will definitely see the rise and fall of all components of Panchaskandha, together and individually. Rise and fall. Rising and ceasing. All the time in a flux. So that wisdom is the one that shows you, now even though we talk of rising and ceasing phenomenon in Panchaskandha, we really don't see it. Because this is a moment-to-moment thing. Not what we think of, but what we have to see there. Vipassana meditator will invariably see that. He will understand the rise and fall. Then he will understand that there is unsatisfactoriness in this rising and falling flux of events. There is no substance. There is no satisfaction that you can gain, because everything is leading to something otherwise. So unsatisfactory nature he will see with this wisdom. As well, when he sees this great flux changing all the time, Udaya and Vaya, rise and fall, before you catch the event is gone. So that you can't attribute this to a person. You can't say this as a personality. So you see the anatta. Now this happens in a deep meditator who comes to the pinnacle of his meditation practice and results. As well, there are other things that a meditator will see with his high-level wisdom. With this wisdom matured, he will see the paticca samuppada. He will see the paticca samuppada. When he sees the paticca samuppada, he will see the factors causing the rise of something. About the Panchaskandha I am talking, say Vedana. So he will see clearly how the Vedana arose, due to what factors. And due to what? Due to the dispersal of those very factors, immediately the result will vanish. So he will start seeing the Hetupala, or the rise and fall due to factors coming together and dispersing, separating. So the rise and fall in a paticca samuppada way he will see. Then he will, among many more, I will just briefing, he will see the Chaturarya Satya, or the Four Noble Truths, with his matured final wisdom. He will see the suffering all the time. Now you have to be very careful here. The Panchaskandha is ever changing. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana, continuously changing. That he sees. Now that is the unsatisfactoriness of the Sankhara. Here the Sankhara is for all five. All five is also addressed sometimes as Sankhara, because they are Hetupala. Now these flux of ever-changing stream, when you see, it shows you that it's a very unsatisfactory thing, which cannot be taken as substance. So that if it is changing, it always bothers somebody, because the results we see as change in our lives is due to this change. So it is a changing, unsatisfactory thing. But now one point we have to be clear about here is the problem of having an attachment. So he sees that Panchaskandha is unsatisfactory, but when you are attached to the Panchaskandha, that attachment is a dukkha. Because that is why Buddha said, Sankittena panchupadana kanda dukkha. He didn't say Sankittena panchaskandha dukkha. Because even the Arahant has this unsatisfactory panchaskandha, but he doesn't have dukkha. His panchaskandha is eternally changing. But he doesn't have a dukkha because of panchaskandha. He may feel pain, he may feel certain things changing, but there is no dukkha in him. Panchaskandha is actually dukkha because you attach to it. You can't say Panchaskandha is not dukkha, because the attachment is the one which causes the dukkha. So Panchupadanaskandha is dukkha, that he will very clearly see through his wisdom. Through his wisdom. Now this Sankhara dukkha, with the Sankhara dukkha he will understand, really he will understand this whole thing, this whole mental suffering happened merely because of this attachment. So he will clearly see the dukkha the people undergo with the Pancha Upadana Skandha. This Pancha Upadana Skandha is suffering because of the attachment. Then he sees the cause also. Very clearly sees the cause. Then he sees that if the attachment is not there, you become a very calm, settled, peaceful person. That is his Nibbana, Satchikiriya. He is now seeing the Nibbana. As well, because there is a cause, he sees the path as Aryashtangika Magga. So now, these things he clearly sees, not that he thinks over it. He clearly sees when it comes to the high level of panya or wisdom. So these are the things that a person who sees at the highest level of panya or wisdom. Now next we come to a kind of slight description or a synopsis of what is happening when you develop your practice. Now, this is just a brief introduction. So now we have to see how does the practice develops somebody's wisdom. That is the crux of today's talk. That is the essence of today's talk. Topic is that. Now, wisdom cannot be developed alone. That all of us must understand. Though we say development of wisdom, wisdom cannot be developed alone as one factor. There are many other factors which join in our practice or develop in parallel with wisdom. So when you say that development of wisdom, you just can't forget the other factors and say, I develop only wisdom. That never happens. That never happens. The development of wisdom always happens with the development of some other factors. Now, this development of other factors, I'm talking about the other factors, are not only developing together, they are very supportive in the development of wisdom. So ultimately, the concern of those factors is also to develop the wisdom. It's like you are keeping something at a height where you can't reach it alone. Then another group of people will lift you and make you high enough to take it with your hand. So ultimately, wisdom is the one, panya is the one, which is going to eradicate the defilements. Without panya, you can't, because Buddha has compared it to a lion. Even though there are many strong ones, the lion is the one who can do is the best. So it's in the world of beasts, it's like the lion, Samma Ditti or the wisdom. So these supportive factors slowly but steadily develop in parallel during your full course of practice of Vidarshana meditation. And these factors then come to a very high maturity one day. At one point, at a moment in the future, all these factors will come to the full maturity. When they come to the full maturity, together in one mind, if I just quote, Sati, Samadhi, Viriya, Saddha, such factors. I'm not going to describe the whole 37. When they come to the highest maturity, together with wisdom, as one bunch or bundle, cheering the wisdom, enhancing the wisdom in one mind. Now that happens only 4 times in our samsara. Now that happens only in the Magga Chittas. Soan Magga Chitta, Sakrudagami Magga Chitta, Anagami Magga Chitta, and Arihat Magga Chitta. In such Magga Chittas, only one Magga Chitta is one. In that Magga Chitta, say Soan Magga Chitta. These factors, relevant factors, come to the maturity together in one mind. Never before. There can be some factor which has matured a lot, but they never, even either they are matured or not, they can't come together in one mind before a Magga mind, earlier than a Magga mind. Magga mind is the only mind which can accommodate or which will see the occurrence of all these matured factors together. Now, when these matured factors come together in full scale, the relevant, not the word relevant, the relevant defilements will be destroyed. Because in Soan Magga, all the defilements will not be destroyed. So relevant ones will be destroyed. Then when you further mature in other Magga Chitta, step by step, all coming together in the Magga Chitta, Sakradagami, Anagami, Arahat will happen. So you can see how the development occurs. The development occurs maturing all the time with our dedicated practice. They come together and destroy the defilements. So now I would like to tell you a few things about the influence the defilements have towards the Panchaskandha before I come to the important part of the wisdom development. The influence of defilements is immense. The defilements are bad factors. Now they influence the Panchaskandha of Putujjana immensely. The defilements produces an attachment to the Panchaskandha, so that there is a clinging on, upadana, to Panchaskandha. Now that is all because defilements are working within our minds. Now these defilements, when they cling on to the Panchaskandha, Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana, what we all have even now, that attachment, that clinging on, constructs a person. That is the problem. This person shows ownership, possession of the Panchaskandha, ownership to Panchaskandha. My hand, here I am. This is my feeling. This is my idea. So always the my is there. I is there as a person. That is because by default, we Putujjanas who have the defilements interplay with the Pancha Upadanaskandha, rest of the Pancha Upadanaskandha, and make a person. So he doesn't see someone other than a person. So that is the influence that a Putujjana has. But we'll take the Arahant, the noble one. Noble one, Arahant, has no defilements at all, completely destroyed. Now he doesn't have any influence. He has no attachment to Panchaskandha components because he sees what it is. When you see once, that is enough. Arahat has well and truly seen what the Panchaskandha is. He has seen the changing nature, he has seen the dukkha, he has seen that the substance is not there, you can't take it as a person. All he has seen. Now, when we have known the heat of the fire once, we don't try to test it again. Once it is enough. Then we know fire burns. Like that, when Arahant knows that the defilements burn and the Panchaskandha is futile, you need not go and remind him, noble one, you have understood, why don't you think about it? Nothing to do like that. He will definitely not be influenced by the defilement. So he also will execute verbal, physical activity, but without any attachment or clinging to the Panchaskandha he has. He has only a Panchaskandha. He allows the Panchaskandha to go on. He doesn't produce any fuel to samsara because he doesn't produce any volitions, which gives rise to karma. So, Dhamma friends, now in the process of our development of wisdom, we can now try to understand how the factors develop together. So practice starts in the Vidarshana meditation as mindfulness of four foundations of mindfulness. Now there are subtle things that we have to understand. Now when we start our practice, we are at a very mundane, low level. We understand only the good and bad, and what should be done and what should not be done. And the Chintame Jnana, what we have gathered from our doctrine, and reflections has given us some jnana. Those are the ones we have. Those are important to start with. Then we concentrate on the four foundations. What are the four foundations? Four foundations are again Panchaskandha. Now, Kaya Anupassana is on your Rupa. On your Rupa. Breath is your Rupa. So, in four foundations, you meditate on the Rupa. Then Vedana Anupassana, what is it? A component of Panchaskandha. So, we are meditating again on a component of Panchaskandha. Then we are meditating on the mind, Chittanupassana. So that is again the Vijnana of the Panchaskandha. So we are meditating, even though we say four foundations of mindfulness, we are meditating on Panchaskandha. And then the thoughts, thought processes, volition, Sanya also included here. Because it's a mental factor. It cannot be separated from Vedana, because you always call Vedaita Sanya. Vedana, Sanya go together. So that you meditate on the Dhamma. Those thoughts, thought processes, volitions, all are Dhamma. So you meditate on Dhammanupassana. So when you exercise sati, that is the foundation of sati, no? When you exercise sati on these four aspects, you are becoming aware of what is happening at that moment. Now, if you get a feeling, you are aware that you got a feeling. So as you exercise this over and over again, your sati develops. That is why I said, more you do, more you develop. So it's not only being aware, it's also development. Both happen together. As well, now when you are to exercise sati, you have to focus. That's a different thing. Sati is being aware of what is happening now. But without concentrating on the object, you can't be aware of what is happening to the object. Concentration is samadhi. So we feel that samadhi is found only in the samatha meditation with one-pointedness. In jhana, no. That is also samadhi. But here the vidarshana meditator, right from the beginning, exercise samadhi as concentration on the good meditation object. Without concentrating and focusing on the object, how can you be aware? Then at the same time, unknowingly, now I am saying unknowingly, this is not very visible, you make some analysis of what you be aware of. That is, now if it is the breath, you bring the concentration of samadhi onto your nostrils as a Venerable Bhikkhu did, and then you be aware that it is the breath, and then you have an analysis that breath is not stationary, it's dynamic, it's changing, the changing nature, that's wisdom. You are developing the wisdom that way, because you see the changing nature. It doesn't stay in one. So the change is seen in every Satipatthana chapter. Ultimately, change is given a big place. So change is seen. And then you develop your confidence more and more. You start with some confidence that I am going on the right direction. I have heard of monks, I have read of monks who have achieved the ultimate goal. And Buddha is the one who preached. He is such and such a person who had done this and that and preached in this way the Dhamma. With that confidence you start. That is samadhi, that is saddha. So samma, that is saddha, right confidence. Now when you practice and see the things properly, being aware from moment to moment, your saddha or the confidence becomes more. To now these are the factors I am showing you which simultaneously develop this system. Now all these things to happen, there must be effort. You can't be lulled, you can't be sleeping, you can't be thinking that it is enough, I have no time. So your focus should be to concentrate and do the meditation, practice all that. So that is Vayama. So more you apply Vayama, more you exercise energy and effort, more that develop, more that it is developed. So you can see how all the things develop together. But they never occur together. There are so many others which I didn't go into because time is limited. So these are the ones that you see which are developing. And they go to the highest level, as I said, and they meet in one place at the pinnacle, and then they destroy the defilements. Just if Manori permits me, I will take another 5 minutes. Is it okay, Manori?
Yes, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Now,
you can take 5 minutes or even 10-15 minutes.
Good, thank you. And now we are coming to the way that wisdom develops, to see how it develops into what and what categories. Now, right at the beginning, we have a kind of a mundane kind of wisdom where I told you we understand certain things, but we don't properly see. As we go on practicing, our wisdom develops to a level of a wisdom faculty. Now, what do you mean by a faculty? Indriya, pancha indriya. Wisdom means only one. Now, out of the indriyas also in one sutra, Buddha has said, Panindriya is like a lion. That is the most important indriya out of the 5. Now, at the indriya level, now you must be very clearly understanding this. At the indriya level, what does the wisdom do? Wisdom becomes a director, a coordinator, managing director, who will bring all the good factors towards the development of very wisdom. So wisdom as a faculty streamline all the mental factors towards the development of wisdom to attain Nibbana. So streamlining of other factors, bringing the other factors towards the correct path is done at the faculty level. So when the wisdom is discussed as a faculty, it does directing or streamlining, bringing the other factors towards the good path that you are practicing, the development of the wisdom. So very wisdom will streamline, because what wisdom wants is to see something in the proper sense, in the real sense, in the true sense. So to see it in the true sense, all other factors also should obey and oblige. So that obligation, that obedience is brought by the wisdom working as a faculty. Then when you further practice your meditation, wisdom becomes a bala or a force. There the wisdom, while working at, there are 2 posts now in our conventional language. While working as the director who is directing other factors towards the understanding of the nature, it becomes a force to completely cancel the moha, cancel the wrong vitakka, which will disturb the development of wisdom, which will disturb the understanding the proper. So it becomes a bala to suppress, not you, but the wisdom will do it, to suppress and put away the moha for a moment at least, to enhance the practice of vidarshana. If the vidarshana is to be disturbed by moha, moha will come nowhere near, because now wisdom is working in the mind as a bala. It is your own good practice and the development, not that it was there by default. It is due to the practice. Then it becomes when you meditate furthermore, when you practice furthermore in the vidarshana way, then the wisdom becomes a bodhyanga, bojjanga. Bojjanga is a factor connected to bodhi. or the Nibbana or the knowledge, reality. So Bodhyanga, for the proper understanding that you are going to have in the Magga minds, Mojjanga. Because in the Magga minds only, you will see the proper thing. But Bojjangas are there right from the beginning when you practice, but it becomes a strong, developed Bojjanga. Now, what is the Bojjanga here? Found here in the 7 Bojjangas, it is Dhamma Vichaya. Dhamma Vichaya is Prajna. So the Panya Bojjanga here is referred to Dhamma Vichaya. Why? Because this wisdom, in addition to the directing part as a faculty, so wisdom does that also. Taken over 3 things now. While the wisdom becoming a force and not allowing the unwholesome factors to rise, that is the second function. Now it is functioning as Dhamma Vichaya. Dhamma Vichaya means the wisdom divides and sees. It divides the Panchaskandha and sees. Each and every Panchaskandha component it sees. It sees the Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo separately. It sees the Nama Rupa. So all this happens to that Vijnana, which is called the Dhamma Vichaya. So when it comes to that high level, you don't see any person. This Vijnana will show you, oh dear, this is what you are. You were supposed to be. And he sees the complete picture, the complete reality. Now, I will revert back to the beginning of the Satipatthana just to tell you one word. Now, ultimately, you are seeing with your wisdom the divided lot, the component being analyzed after a division. Nama, Rupa, Panchaskandha components, Dhatu, like that you have divided. Now, to achieve that only, you may remember, in Satara Satipatthana, Buddha gives the objects of meditation as divided ones. He never gives one person. He gives the breath one time. He gives the sampajana one time, your movements. He gives the posture one time. He gives the vedana one time. So you can see his meditation is administered. He gives the meditation to the meditator in different pieces. It's a piecemeal kind of thing. It is a meditation object which is a part of the Panchaskandha. You can understand what I say. So when you keep on practicing the breath, you will ultimately, you see only a breath, a changing breath, not a person. You start with your my breath and I am breathing. But when your meditation goes to the highest level, you will see a sankhara, which is ever changing. You will not see a person. So to take you away from the concept of person right from the beginning, Buddha gives the meditation object in parts, not the full Panchaskandha at once. So as you meditate on these separate and divided objects, ultimately when you come to the Bojjanga Dhamma Vichaya, you have matured that in full. What Buddha wanted you to achieve, you have achieved. So Dhamma friends, I think I was a little fast today, but I gave the essence of the development of wisdom together with some of the other factors. I think I have to wind up. Thank you again. Professor Manohar Senanayake for inviting me.